bringing our brother Matt Barnes, NBC Sports California, host of All the Smoke podcast. We'll talk about All the Smoke coming up here in just a few minutes. Matt, we appreciate you being with us. Matt, there were fans throwing up at half court last year. Was there any particular point this season that you thought, man, we've got something cooking here?
I just liked it from the jump, to be honest with you. I was a little skeptical on the Mike Brown hiring at the beginning because I had personal experience with him that I didn't really feel worked out too well. But then I had to understand that, he's grown just like everyone else has grown. And I think the pit stop in Golden State really helped him. And then once I kind of started seeing the philosophy that Mike Brown brought, how much these guys were believing in him. And then outside of that, the talent that they surrounded, our two stars with, early on, I really felt like this team was different than any team that we've had in the past.
And also with that, Matt, you can speak to this too. Also, just different situations, like the style that Mike Brown had when he was with you guys in LA. That was a veteran-laden team. They've been to the mountaintop. Like, it didn't really work. This team that needed to prove a whole lot in Sacramento, that type of style probably worked out a little better. So it's just one of those things where, the style matched up better with this particular group.
I think you hit it on the head perfectly. Mike is more of a teacher and a hands-on guy and likes to demonstrate and all that kind of stuff. And we had come from Phil Jackson. So it was just a little bit different kind of technique and style that didn't really catch on with that Laker team. And I really realized that shortly after that. Once these guys started embracing what Mike was saying, and every time we were talking to a Kings player, you would hear a Kings player speak, they would always mention Mike's name, and I loved it because that means that they were believing in what he was trying to teach them. And then you also see like his, Mike has no qualms about calling a timeout 10 seconds into the game, to correct a mistake, and all that stuff works with younger teams. And I think that's why Mike is, has been a great fit for this team to kind of lay a foundation and give this team direction.
Matt, you spent a lot of time with Stack over on All the Smoke podcast. Have you guys talked about the similarities between this Kings team and his old Warriors teams?
Similar, not as much the old Warrior teams, but just the current Warrior teams. I think from a standpoint of, Mike brought, Coach Kerr's philosophy of offense and spacing and cutting and shooters and reading and reaction to Sacramento. And I think, these guys embraced it and have had the best offensive efficiency since they started keeping track in the 96-97 season. So it was really just more similarities to what this current Warriors team is. And that's why I think it's such an intriguing matchup, because you kind of have like the master who created this offense and, a younger team who's kind of taken it, with all due respect, to a new level.
Yeah. Matt, can you talk a little bit about like what it's going to be like for this Kings team, these guys who haven't been in the playoffs, experiencing that for the first time? There's a lot made about that. I kind of feel like you're a hooper, so, like initially maybe 5-10 minutes in, it is different. The nerves are going crazy. But after a while, it just turns into basketball, right? It just becomes a basketball game. Do you think that this team is going to be affected by the lack of experience that they have in these playoff settings?
We'll see. I don't think if it is, it's not going to be, the setting. I think it'll be things at, time, fourth quarter. How do you close out games? The last 2 minutes, in crunch time. How do you execute? How do you make sure you get a good shot every time? How do you end a defensive possession with a rebound? You make those third and fourth efforts consistently. So I don't think it'll be an overwhelming situation from a standpoint of Sacramento is definitely going to be rocking in Golden One, and that in San Francisco, that arena is going to be rocking. So I don't think the crowd noise and that is going to bother them. I just think when it comes down to experience, ending games, closing quarters, starting halves, that's all obviously stuff you work on during the regular season, but it's magnified in the playoffs. Is
that the only aspect where games are really different? I mean, we know timing of games are different. Like, the Kings are on ABC twice in the next 4 games. They've been on ABC in 2 decades. They got 2 ABC games coming up. Like the timing of that stuff is different. Do you notice that as a player?
No, I don't think so. Obviously times for starting playoff games may be different, but at this time, you're ready to put whatever's thrown at you. So I would say the stuff I mentioned is kind of a difference, and then the fact that you're going to see a team possibly 7 times, you know what I mean? So every game, there's so many in-game adjustments and post-game adjustments that are made. It's just, they're going to know the Warriors like the Warriors know them. You're going to know them like the back of your hand, and, who's going to be able to, step up when, you know, your first or second option doesn't work. You know, you're going to have to be able to read and react. And obviously I think that's where the Warriors playoff and championship experience is going to bode well for them. And it's going to be a learning on the fly.
Yeah. I personally, I wasn't that concerned about a Warriors matchup as we went down the end of the season. I thought the Kings match up well with the Warriors. It's a good matchup for Sacramento in this playoff setting. The one thing that always gave me pause, though, Matt, was that man 30, Steph Curry. He's something else, man. To my opinion, we're talking one of the top 10 players to ever play the game. How do you think Mike Brown and the Kings are going to go about trying to slow him down, trying to, you know, make things hard for him? Are they going to double him a lot? You know, how do you think they go about playing against him, man?
Well, I mean, the one cheat code that this Sacramento Kings team has is Mike Brown has been in that locker room and that huddle for the last, 4 or 5 years prior to this. So he's going to know to prepare these guys exactly the best way you can prepare them. And still sometimes against guys like Steph and Clay and Draymond's creativity, that's not enough. So I'm sure he's going to throw a bunch of different looks at them. The one thing that the Warriors are vulnerable with is turnovers. So if you can get the Warriors to turn the ball over and Sacramento be able to get on transition, that's definitely going to help. But yeah, I definitely expect different looks. But Steph is just such a creative and smart player. Although we didn't have all of our guys last time we played him in the regular season, you saw they try to trap him, and then he would hit that short roll, and guys would make plays out of that. So it's just, this Warriors offense, not that they've been playing possum all season, but they just haven't had the best season. And I don't think anyone will argue with that, but they are getting Wiggins back now. They are getting GP2 work back into the formula. So the Kings are definitely going to have their hands full, but it's not nothing they couldn't handle.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Because obviously everyone has brought that point up about the Warriors and kind of the season that they had, and we've even heard the line playing possum before. But they're also getting older.
Yes.
At some point, and maybe it's not this year, but at some point, this thing has to end. They've had a 10-year run where they're great. It's not going to go on forever. So maybe it's not like a fall off a cliff. It's just a gradual decline. And what they did last year, I thought was amazing. That to me felt like the last hurrah, because I did not think they were better than Boston. And winning that series and all that they did, I thought it was incredible. This just feels like, hey, they're a basketball team. Could they represent the West? Sure, but they could be out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, this is definitely the window is definitely closing on this team, and I think they understand that. But they still are the defending champs, So whether that window is going to get closed this season by the Kings or another team, just the natural laws of nature is that this window is closing. So it'll be interesting to see if the Kings are able to dethrone them, or if they're able to make one last push with this team. But no, I completely agree. Warriors basketball as they know it, with this core group is definitely, slowly but surely coming to an end.
Before we let you go, Matt, you got the award-winning podcast, All the Smoke, man. And you guys, record in LA, you record in Atlanta. It's big time, man. You get everybody. And you blessed the hometown with a live All the Smoke show with another Jason Williams, man. I was so excited when I saw this. This is big time. Man, just talk to the people a little bit more about what they can do to be in attendance and check that out. I'm trying to get there myself, man. I'm trying to see what I got to do to get there.
It's going down, man. Urban Roots Sunday starting at 3 p.m. We'll have a VIP opportunity where you click the link in my bio, Matt_Barnes9, or go to the All the Smoke bio, or even go to the Urban Roots bio. Where we're doing it in a VIP experience where you can eat with us, drink with us, take pictures, hang out. And then from there, we'll be doing a live show, and it's kind of just first come, first serve situation. So we're looking to, I've always wanted to come back to Sac and do All the Smoke, and, who better to come with me than, my boy White Chocolate. So I know Sacramento's going to go crazy, and I'm excited to be able to, in between game 1 and game 2, keep the fans out there entertained.
Yeah, that's so. Hey, Matt, these boys in San Francisco is so shook. They went on the radio yesterday and said we got bad weed down here, dude.
They would never say they should have never said that.
See, that's how you know they a little shook. They said we got bad weed down here. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to tell Matt. I can't wait to tell Matt Barnes they talking about our weed.
I don't know who said that, but they need to have all their rights revoked.
Straight up, man. Hey, man, this dude Matt Barnes, man. Anytime I hit him up, man, if he got opportunity, he always pull up on us, man. I appreciate you all the time, Matt.
Yeah, no doubt, fellas.
Appreciate you, brother.